Well, all right then, chat. We have all of our preseason training finally done. We have all of our, off-season training and the preseason training and the goals, all that fun stuff. However, we got some problems with this roster. More on that in a second. We are going to have some contract extensions coming through in the next couple of days, hopefully. And that will allow me to further elaborate on what we have going on. Moved to Nova Scotia, started my own business. Hey, congratulations. Congrats. Hopefully all is going well with that so far. The strength training? Let's get some physicality in there for once. Why not? Sens don't have a dough stall anymore. That's what it looks like. All right. Stewart, long-term deal. Corey rejects. Mathot, Teifel. Koltsov still isn't signing with us. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about with this team. We're going to wait and see what the preseason training does and how that finalizes things. But we have a lot of trades to make, I think, and there is a very good chance we have missed our window to win a cup. A very good chance we have missed that window. So let's talk about said roster for the moment. In goal, we do have Manny James, who's a beast, right? He also developed a silver no-timer. So, have you ever been able to convince someone to waive their no-movable clause? Yeah, you just got to piss them off. We need a backup goalie because Koltsov won't sign with us. And again, he is an RFA. We could wait until later in the season, kind of like we did with Ivankovic previously. But I feel like I would rather just avoid that situation of having to constantly be like, what the hell is our future here? I don't know. Maybe it is worth signing someone temporarily and then still trying to sign Koltsov. And if we can't, we ditch him. Nobody offer sheeted him. Ooh, hopefully our salaries didn't just get readjusted. I forgot to sign somebody. Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're okay. That's good. I think, yeah, 22 million in cap. I was just barely cap compliant. I do think James is now technically making slightly more than I was allowed for this year. But overall, it doesn't look like we're suffering too much. Yeah, I think he's the only one. So that is what it is. That's my mistake. What do we do with the goalie? I guess we could just keep him. I guess we could. So before we play Toronto tomorrow, we need ourselves a backup goalie for the year. And it's our old friend Talon Boyko. He's fucking huge. That's all we need is just a tall-ass goalie. Just sit in the crease, being all tall. Welcome in, Talon. Welcome in. Happy to have you here. Right, and that will allow us to send down Peterman for the AHL to be Peterman and Rhodes. Now is where we get into more trouble in regards to the roster, aside from our goalie not actually signing. Let's talk about this. Defensively, Cameron, Corey are both now top fours after preseason training. Stewart is ready to go. We're going to be sending down Horkoff, but we also have DuPont and Cripps to call up. And then we're going to be sending down Nicholas as well. So you can see the issue defensively. We have one player too many. Because I feel like if we send down Dahl, he's not going to develop properly as a depth defenseman. Now's the right time to play him. So our options, I mean, Jordan Harris is still usable, right? Like, we have him for one more year after this, but he's still usable. He's not in Nick Hague falling off a cliff territory. So an argument could be Carson Cameron, but he's been pretty solid for us. Somebody's got to go on that defensive side. I mean, I guess we could risk Dahl, but Like, you have Austin Stewart. He's listed as an OFD. He is not an offensive defenseman. I don't remember. Okay, he is trying to become a two-way. So that could be the one thing that saves him. Corey's listed as an OFD, which is okay. I think he was also trying to become a two-way. Oh, that's tough. And, of course, Brock Cripps became a top two defenseman, also developed gold. Send it. Landon DuPont, we are about to start getting priced out on because he is an RFA at the end of this year. So we got some issues there. From here, Green, his deal is up at the end of the year. He's going to price us out. I've already looked. So we have a choice with Ruben Green. Do we leave him for the season or cash out on him now and play somebody like Robichaud on the NHL roster? We have, Latikainen, of course, who was the rookie of the year last year that would really benefit from that top line time. Granted, he's a playmaker, not a sniper. It leaves the question of, are we willing to keep certain people like Green, like Eyes Wozniak, who was, again, a first liner, but he's going to leave at the end of the year. We're going to be priced out on him. It's like, do we keep these guys that got us so close to a cup, or do we move on from them now and try to have our cake and eat it too by still being a good team, but also trying to develop certain players? And I don't know. I don't know. If we were to move Ruben Green, like, that's a lot of value. That's a lot of value to let go at the end of the year, although Ruben is the type of guy that could win us a cup. That's the problem. And we're going to have to find a landing spot for these guys, too. If we were to trade Ruben Green, it would be to a Western Conference team that is preferably getting rid of somebody decent, because I really couldn't afford to trade Ruben to an Eastern Conference team. Chapman? We almost traded up to get this guy previously. Ron Chapman in Calgary. That's not too bad. Nobody crazy on Chicago or Colorado or Dallas. Again, the last thing that we need to are more like NHL-ready players. We have too many players as it is. Minnesota. Man, Calgary might be the only team that actually has a prospect. 55 overall at 20 years old. Yikes. The Sharks do have 5, though. He's not too bad. San Jose, Calgary. St. Louis doesn't have anybody. Utah doesn't have anybody. Vancouver. Looks like San Jose, Calgary. Those are our best landing spots. Keep Ruben Green for the year. Lose him for nothing. Or trade him now. Let somebody else have his spot in the lineup and hope that they develop. That is what we're looking at. Especially, too, because Latikainen's 24. He doesn't have too much dev time left. Especially, too, we know with, like, the centers. Like, my thought is this guy right here, Bernie Mathot, he's 24 years old. Look at that shooting category. What happens if we put this guy next to Michael Misa and he wins the Calder, which is his goal for the year? What happens? Because he is now signed long-term. He has an 8-year extension kicking him for dirt cheap. We might be able to turn him into that top-notch sniping replacement. But this is our last year to be able to do it. Shit. I think we have to make those tough calls. I think we have to. That's tough. That is tough. But if we get Chapman and then go draft picks, it might be possible. At least Ruben was better than Cole. That's true. That is true. Green for Chapman, 2 firsts, a second and a third's probably too much. It went through. Ruben Green is on his way to Calgary. I feel like it had to be done. He had 1 year left, tops. We did turn him into such a great player. 4 years here. Almost 200 goals. Damn, baseball fan, what's up, man? Had to be done, Ruben. I'm sorry. We got to think about the future now. That's the situation that we're in. We have to think about the future here as well. Which brings me to Ozzy. Ozzy is a great player. But for that trade value, it's probably worth cashing out on him now and just playing a similar type of player on the third line. Just because that trade value is about to plummet. I like Ozzy a lot. But he's 32. Now's probably the right time to move on. Sure. So Phi must be in junior. Yeah, playing for Peterborough. And if we take on somebody random, they got Chikrin taken on a bunch of money. So if we were to take on Chikrin, this is why I was fearful that our window might be closed, because it just might be. It just might be. A first, a second, a prospect, and we take on Chikrin's deal. We could have gotten even more. Ozzy Wiesblatt's on his way to San Jose. And these hurt. These hurt a lot. Again, Koltsov might still be on the outs. Defensively, if Jordan Harris is willing to waive his no movement clause, then I'll move him. All right, he wants to stay. Which means we got to choose one of those younger defensemen. I don't want to stunt the development of the Swede. Because we've had so many guys that have been depth forwards get stuck as depth forwards, even though their overall is going up. Dahl needs to play in the NHL if he's going to develop. So, it is either Cameron, Corey, or Stewart. Obviously, it will not be Stewart because of what he could turn into, which means it is either Carson Cameron or Don Corey. DuPont and Cripps are going to play together. Harris will probably play with Stewart. Meaning, I think it's got to be Corey, because at least Cameron can play the right. And again, we know Landon DuPont's is going to price us out at the end of next year, but again, he is an RFA, so we can hold on to him without as much risk. Yeah, Don Corey, even if he turns into a two-way, we already have so many OFDs. He's a little bit slower than I'd prefer. See if we can do Trade Finder for Don Corey. This is what happens when you have a team that fails to win the cup when they really should have. This is what happens. So yeah, we'll end up doing Cripps, DuPont, Harrison, Stewart, Cameron, even though he's a top four. We'll play him on the third pair with Dahl. So Corey... I'm hoping for just picks, 2 third-rounders, because I really don't need any more prospects in the mix. It looks like 2 third-rounders is about the best we're going to get. Or, I mean, a medium 6 prospects. Some of these guys might be decent, but I'd rather take the picks. Don Corey off to Calgary for 2 thirds, 1 from Vegas and 1 from the Flames themselves. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We are having to move this team into a new era. Gotta be ahead of the game. So our defense, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Dahl. Right wing side. So Hedstrom, Robichaud both need to look at making the team. Need to be looked at as making the team, or they need to be dealt. Hedstrom's not signed, though, so never mind. It's just Lottikainen and Robichaud. Left wing side. You got Pre-Stop, Bowdens, Geet, Volkov, although Volkov isn't signed, nor is West. And then for the centers, he's going to price us out. It's Eyes Wozniak. No trades found. So we're going to have to do this manually, but he's going to price us out as well. It's a good time to move on. 16-team tradable list. We will be looking at Anaheim, Calgary, Chicago, Edmonton, LA, Minnesota, Seattle, or Vancouver. Because he has that no trade list. Let's see what we can do. Eyes Wozniak has to go. Small as he is, yeah. It's crazy how good he's been. Let's see. Anaheim doesn't really have anybody negative value. Calgary has price, but it's not really what we're looking for either. Chicago also doesn't really have the type of player I'm looking for. Nor does Edmonton. Los Angeles, no. Minnesota. All right, doesn't look like we're going to find anybody with like outright negative value. Yeah, that's a shame. Okay, so Anaheim, we'd have to take back a contract. Yes, discard trade. I don't know why. Oh, because it wasn't even a trade finder. Why the hell do I have to take him off the list? Who cares? What the hell? What the hell's going on? Oh, because he ended up on a team. Okay, I got it. Calgary still has roster space. Okay. Chicago has a lot of roster space. Edmonton does as well. I mean, it looks like, all right, so we know we can cross off Anaheim. Just so I don't have to take anybody back. LA is on 50. What about Mini? Mini's on 50. We got Seattle and Vancouver. Okay, so those 5 teams work. Canucks have about a little bit under 5 million in space. Seattle have about the same. I think Edmonton was pretty similar too. Seattle, of course, won the President's Trophy last year. Vancouver's listed as sellers. Edmonton were awful last year. Again, Connor McDavid has retired in this timeline. So Edmonton would be a really nice team to look at in terms of getting a high draft pick from them. Shout out to Matty Ice on the 13 months on the primer. Matty, welcome back. Bring me some luck here for this trade to go through, please. Please, please. Edmonton's first rounder. This would be a crazy deal if it went through. Let's add some later picks into the mix. What do you think, Edmonton? Take out a 4th. Take out another 4th. For a 1st and a 3rd, Wozniak on his way to Edmonton. Again, we were going to get priced out on him. So now's the time. Defense is set. We'll call up Chikrin just so he's not taking away an AHL position. Robichaud, Ross needs to go down for Lottikainen. That's good there. Left wing side, Pre-Stop, Bowdens, Geet, Clutterbuck, and Carpenter can go down for Kevin He. And then at center, call up Taves, Diorio, Stenberg, Tikhonov, Erzberg, Brophy go down. Tikhonov's on waivers. He clears. Down goes Shepard. And we still need to call up Rogowski, Zether, and Kaltinen. Right. So for the moment, let's actually send Chychrun back down. Just keep yo-yoing him. So, out of these forwards, we still need a couple of players to go. There wasn't any other obvious trade right now. It's just a lot of dudes who need to be given a chance or need to be shown the door. Let's see what we're looking at here. Let's see. So if we go best lines, we pretty much know it's still going to be Taves and Misa. Honestly, Taves, Misa, Diorio is still tremendous. It is still tremendous, and Diorio is a first liner. Taves is actually only a second liner. Interesting, because you could go with Stenberg or Latikainen up there. Latikainen needs 60 assists for gold, or 40 assists for third eye, excuse me. He's not going for the gold. I think Stenberg's the one who's going for the gold. He is. Right. And then Mathot was somebody that we wanted to play this year. So we could go Stenberg, Misa, Diorio, Taves, Latikainen, and what if we take out he from Mathot? Just to try and develop his shot. It could even be Taves, Misa, Diorio, Stenberg, Mathot. I still can't help but think, though, having Misa, you know? Like, what if we do, like, Stenberg, Misa, Mathot, Taves, Diorio, Latikainen? That second line is disgusting. And then we're kind of using Michael Misa like Sidney Crosby, right? Like, trying to train up somebody else because, like, whatever, Misa's good enough. And then that second line is crazy. And then in the bottom six, so Robichaud's a playmaker. He really is kind of the odd one out. He's not willing to become a two-way either. He's listed as a playmaker, and again, he's just not that good. I think he could go. I think he could. I think we found one of them that can be on the outs. That leaves he... Ooh, you got Teufel as well as a sniper, which is okay, but not amazing. It's just, you know... I mean, he's younger than Mathot, but Mathot does have the shot already. So if Robichaud's out, Teufel's out, it comes down to Kevin He or Wyatt Geet. Geet can't really skate, whereas Kevin He can very much skate. So I think he might make the team. I think he might. He's a third liner, too, if I'm not mistaken. He can play the right. So, like, Bodens, Kaltinen, Zether, Pre-stop, Rogowski, he. I think Bodens is going for the Calder, right? He is. So, pre-stop, Kaltinen, Zether, Bodens, Rogowski, he. That's still a pretty competent team if Mathot can develop. It's a pretty big if. I'm a little bit worried about Diorio not being on the top unit, but that's still very competent. And then we go DuPont and Cripps, Harris and Stewart, Dahl and Cameron. And obviously Manny James and goal, Talon Boyko behind him. I think we found the odd ones out. Teufel, Geet, and Robichaud, I believe, are going to be the next three to go. There is an argument to send them down to keep getting them to develop, but they're getting to that age. They're all 22, 23. Yeah. Spending any more time in the AHL, it's not going to do too much for them because we've seen guys like Mathot continually stay in the AHL. Still depth defenseman. even though he's got a 5-star, or depth defenseman, depth forward, even though he's got a 5-star shooting category. So I think those are the final 3 to go. AHL will still be stacked. We'll have to find the right coach for the job. But I think we're going to be looking okay here. So let's see. For forwards, Teufel's got some good value too. As does Robichaud and Geet as well. I don't remember who else was terrible last year. Who else was terrible last season? I feel like the Penguins have been bad for a while. Definitely not sending them to Ottawa. I need a team with contract spots. We know Chicago hasn't been bad. Calgary. Just totally build up the Calgary Flames. Honestly, that might be the way to do it. Maybe Vancouver. Maybe Vancouver. First round pick's pretty valuable. Oh, man. I don't know how I feel about trading some of these guys, but based off of the development that we've seen, it feels like the right way to go. Teufel, Robichaud, and Geet. Now, Geet did just sign a big extension, but again, he's kind of the odd one out in the bottom 6. He doesn't have very good skating, so are they willing to take the deal? Got a 4th rounder out of it. Got a 3rd rounder out of it. I mean, even a 1st round pick is still pretty good if they're willing to do it. They might not bite on this particular trade. They're pretty mad about the block. Vancouver, I want that 1st round pick, and I'm willing to miss out on some value to do it. But yeah, they're upset about it being similar players. You want to trade me 3 players? 3 good young players? How dare you? Wow. Okay. Well, Vancouver, you fucking done played yourselves. Seattle. Not that I want to make Seattle any better in the future, but I need to trade assets right now. Looks like they're going to get pretty pissed about the offer, too. You have a random medium. We do have random medium elite goalies that we could throw in. Semenov's only a 47. Will that make it worth your value? Worth your while? Cut out a 3rd. Cut out a 3rd. These damn teams, man. These damn teams. Anybody else with a lot of open contract spots? Edmonton is over the cap without this trade even happening, which is hilarious. Chicago's over our old pals, Calgary. What do I have left? Your 1st rounder next year. I am just going to be heavily investing in the downfall of the Calgary Flames. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, we're talking multiple future 1st rounders here. Can you add me another 3rd? Thank you, Calgary. Here we go. Our best friends, the Calgary Flames. We make one more big trade. But like I said, I think we have our setup here, shockingly. I think we do. So using Stenberg and Mathot with Misa to try and develop Gold Third Eye, and then just trying to develop Bernard Mathot into anything. If he could be Rookie of the Year, that would be insane. Taves, Diorio, and Latikainen should destroy pretty much anybody in front of them. Pre-stop, Colton and Zether is going to be a really good 4th line. Bowden, Rogowski, and Henrique. I hope so, buddy. I hope so. The defense, DuPont and Grips. Stubbs, what's going on, by the way? Talked about. There we go. That'll be the defense this year. Let's go look at a potential coaching change really quickly before we lock in the power play. Because, again, we do have some good coaches. I need to temporarily fire Mendez to open up space. All A-plus coaches. Stevens, 55% scheme fit right now. What about Lockhart? 60 for Tate Lockhart. Campbell, 54, so it's still Lockhart at a 60. Stahl, 51. That's not surprising. Redden, 55. It looks like it's going to be Lockhart. What about Banting? Yeah, okay, so Tate Lockhart is going to be our head coach this year. Steps, I appreciate that. We'll have Banting, Campbell, Copeland, and yeah, honestly, that works for the AHL. Is there a random goalie coach that I can bring in now after having to fire that other one? This guy, why not? Patrick Melachar. Nick, what's up, man? Doing well. How have you been? How the heck are you? I am anticipating this team disappointing me again. Let's see if that is the case. Let's see, I need a U.S. West. A U.S. West. All 18 players. We need to move you over to Russia. When you set the season goals for goal, it does show the reward. It does not. It is a pain in the ass. Yeah, right now it's just kind of wishful thinking about what it actually changes. All right, let's see. Final 3 to move. Trick to winning the Jack Adams Award and franchise. Luck. A lot of it's pure luck. It's just like, hey, who was the 8th seed in the playoffs? Okay, it's you. Or the President's Trophy. I mean, there's just... yeah. It's kind of like real life. Nobody knows why anybody wins awards, why anybody does anything in the NHL. They just do things. Lou Lamoriello, GM of the year. After the Everett Silver Chips game to beat Calgary. There's also a fight. Ooh. I mean, I can't root for Everett beating Calgary, but I'm glad you had a good time. I got to get to at least one juniors game this year. At least one. Probably be for the St. John Sea Dogs. Okay, so one more check of these lines because we have to double check the power play and the PK, especially. Especially too because we learned it is definitely worth taking out the time to see what forwards have the best defensive awareness. And making sure that they are on your power play. So we got Misa at a 90. It's a 91 for Taves. 88 for Oreo. 82 for Latikainen. 87 for Bodenson. I sure do. I sure do. And we'll see what happens. See, I got to double check with what people have been doing. 85 is pretty much across the board with these guys for defensive awareness. Okay, our PK should be really, really good this year then. So power play wise, it is back to this formation. Instead of Greg Taves, we are, as mentioned, going to go with Mathot. This guy's a glass cannon. We probably could go with the defenseman. DuPont and Cripps. Let's go with Cripps because he's the long-term option. Let's get Dahl on this power play. Just to really try to develop him. Although you could argue Bowden's because he is looking for the Calder as well. I mean, if he steals it from Mathot, that's not ideal. But... so distributor, Stenberg, finisher, Mathot, puck carrier. I mean, Cripps can develop third eye this year, and Misa can't do much. So free fall in 50 months on the primer. Goodness gracious. Free fall, and how the hell are you?
Highly unnecessary.
I hope you are well. I hope so. so. I hope so. All right, so that is the top unit. Second power play is Latikainen, Diorio. We need Greg Taves in there. Honestly, Stewart's perfect to use there. And we'll give it to Landon DuPont. So let's make sure that Diorio is in that shooting position. Get Greg Taves in front. Right. I mean, man, both these power plays should be awesome. They should be. What, that works. That works. Taves on face-offs. That's fine, too. Cool. And then the PK. Just to make sure here, we want Greg Taves and one Michael Misa on that top power play or PK unit. Second is Diorio and Bodens. And the third, Rogowski, he pre-stop, any one of those combinations. We'll go Rogowski, and we'll go with pre-stop. Why not? Give him a chance. So again, we still got to figure out what the hell is going to go on with our goalie. I'm hopeful that this team can do something this year, though. I mean, it would be pretty disappointing if we're not back in the playoffs. I'm not necessarily expecting number one seed. Like we were in the East last year, but we should be able to have a pretty good showing, especially if this whole Mathot plan works out. But we had to trade, didn't necessarily have to, but we did trade a lot of talents. We'll see if it backfires. We got Chapman playing forward, but you know what? At least he's playing. AHL coach does not blend well with our defense at all. But I don't really care. I don't really care. Let it ride. I'm gotten tired of seeing AHL success. It's all about the NHL success now. Misa, Diorio, and Harris with the letters. I am okay with that. Fair. God, but yeah, no more Ozzy Wiesblatt. No more Ruben. Teifel, Robichaud, no more Wozniak. Don Corey's gone. Big changes. Big changes. Before we can sim this year out, though, again, Colt's off. We got to see if we can bring him back for the year. He's not likely to take the deal. Again, 6% of the cap, 695 is the most we can offer somebody. If he doesn't take that, we're just going to have to wait until the end of the year. DuPont's too expensive for us to bring back, but he is an RFA. Same with Taves. Last guy to sign or to worry about is Tikhonov, who I also can't negotiate with yet because we just signed him this offseason. So for now, we're good. Let's sim this year at the very least. At the very, very least. Let's see how we do. Let's see if I made a mistake. Zach Jones is on waivers from Calgary. We don't need him. There is a chance I made a mistake, right? It may have been much better to keep Wozniak, to keep Ruben Green. Koltsov's rejected again. It may have been better to keep certain players around and go for it, one more time before losing those guys for free. It may have been worth it. Let's see how we sim. We'll see. Let me see. Hello, Endurance, by the way, yet again. 5-4-2. Not an amazing start. We'll have to keep an eye out on the goaltending as well. Maybe Talon Boyko's not doing that well. We're about to get some player updates here, though. Austin Stewart does not become a two-way. As I mentioned, Talent Boy Coey's upset about his performance lately. That's pretty typical. Don Corey's not even on the team anymore, but he also didn't become a two-way. Let's see. 11-5 for Seattle. Latikainen. We just tried to add the other wing. So far, it says promise succeeded, but did it? Because nothing's changed so far. Cameron Brophy. Now play right wing. So center right wing for him. Wyatt Geet, of course, was off the team, but we still get this. We don't have anything new to discuss with him. He's not on my team. This is breaking the law. This is tampering. Let's see, Michael Westgarth. Yeah, a lot of these guys, it's just they are not succeeding in these position changes, player type changes. That works. Matthias Dahl learns how to play right D, so that's nice. Could have been worse. 8-6-2, huh? There we go. And that's all we have. Wow, we just got pooped on by Seattle. Of course, again, it could have very well been us and Seattle in the Stanley Cup final last year. Could have been. Could have been. Could have been. Give me 1 second. All right. 12-7-2. Honestly, not that bad given how much talent we lost. But right now, it's not about any other change. Oof, 24th in goals against. Dude, our power play is at 40%. Dude, it's fucking Thanksgiving. And our power play is at 40%. Holy shit. Unless we're just not getting many chances, that is fucking nuts. Dude, 22 goals on 55 attempts. Jesus. 2 shorties against, but my God. Power play is crushing it right now. Koltsov, my friend. Are you going to play for us this year? That is the question. One last offer. Are you playing for us this year, or am I going to trade you? Because I don't think anyone's going to offer sheet you next year either. So this is it. As Kirill Koltsov played his final game as a Peg City penny pincher. He has. It is just going to be worth trading Koltsov after sitting out for the year. Okay. The goalie turnover continues. It is time to move Kirill Koltsov out. Fair enough. Fair enough. Is there a team in the West that needs a goalie? Is the question. Again, I'd prefer to trade him out west for obvious reasons. Vegas. I mean, they got a couple of goalies in the mix. Blomqvist is making too much money, but Vegas could certainly use a goalie like him. I'm going to have to give up a bit to get this first rounder. But I think we could. By the way, Delicando and Sin, if you're waiting, I got an update for you on Twitter. Let's see. We could also move Janssen here. So 2 goalies for Vegas' first round pick this year. They're struggling a bit. Wow, still going to have to add more. Still worth it unless they try to get even more from me. Yeah, I'm not surprised. They're just like, hey, we don't need 3 goalies. All right, let's try to find somebody else. I'm sure somebody will take this deal. Vancouver has Tulipov, not much. Jesus Christ, he's getting paid $13 million. Okay. Not too often you go full horse. But there you go. You got Utah paying Emil Vinny. You don't really need another goalie. St. Louis, Seattle. I mean, they have old man Demko. Seattle could... oh, God. I'm going to trade him to Seattle, and they're going to win a cup. Aren't they? Aren't they? Let's try to get some extra bits and bobs in this trade. There we go. A trio of goalies, including Kirill Koltsov, on their way to Seattle. So we will have to keep an eye out on Talon Boyko, who, so far has been awful. We do still need him as a cap whale. We need a half-decent backup here. I think we can immediately look at replacing Talon Boyko. Ender, you mean Reaver wasn't a good coach? All right. Let's see what we can do here. Who is a better backup goalie? Mathot has 9 goals. Ugh. Michael Misa's a -12. Yikes. We got some struggles going on. Austin Matthews, 32 goals in 23 games at age 37. Jesus. The thought is Ian Bowden's are up there for rookie scoring, though. Roller hockey. Did you, though? Donovan McCauley, he's a starter. Igor Zavarkin's not too bad. Costa, we know, is a starter. Kevin Riddler. Caleb Hawley. I mean, we've done plenty of trades with Calgary. What's one more? I mean, it's only 5 games for Zakavrin, though. Zavragin, whatever the hell it is. Zavragin the puck. Obviously, most people that we look at will end up being pretty difficult to acquire. Maybe we give Boyko just a little bit more time. I might regret that move, but let's see. Let's see. We will go probably to January 1st. It's a pretty typical stopping point for us, but man, we have seen a lot of players get traded. A lot. Ruben, Wozniak, Koltsov. We knew that there would be some roster turnover, but I don't know if we expected this. I didn't expect it, at least. But again, we are still doing well. If this team can make it into the playoffs, they can beat anybody. I think it's just my only concern is whether or not we will, for sure, make it into the playoffs. Because we might not. We might not. And again, if we keep playing like this, we're going to be fine. First in our division, Austin Matthews, old man Matthews, still trying to prop up the Leafs, but 23, 10, and 4, 50 points and a 6-point lead on Toronto as of January 1st, 2035. Manny James is still doing very well as the starter of this team. Let's take a look at the rest of it. So, Stenberg, 7 and 19. Ooh, very much not on pace to hit 60. Misa, 14 and 19. Only 10 goals from a thought. Maybe the second line from a thought. Maybe. See, Taves, 13, 23, and a +11. 32 goals already for Diorio. Holy hell. And then Latikainen doing very well for himself here, too. He's going to get third eye before you know it. Maybe we do continue to sacrifice the top line a little bit. You know, since Latikainen's going to hit his goal, let's go Misa, Mathot, Latikainen. We'll go Stenberg, Taves, Diorio. Bowden's on 21 points. It is mostly that top line. But maybe Misa, Latikainen will work a little bit better. Defensively, DuPont, 23 points. Cripps on 24. Harris is still doing okay. Our third pairing's actually done well. Carson Cameron works well with everybody that we play him with. Boyko's at least up to an 893. It's not amazing, but it's not horrific. Okay. All right, we'll try that slight change. I'm still pretty desperate to get Mathot scoring goals here. I mean, there is an argument if he can't to maybe go out and try to find somebody like Ruben after we found him last time. So there is that possibility, but man, if we could get Mathot to develop. He does have a hell of a shot, too. Maybe it's just we need to up the shot tendency. So, maybe. How many straight wins was that? I don't know, because we started losing hand over fist and threw away our division lead to Ottawa immediately after. Okay, so clearly that new combination top line does not sim particularly well because we had a pretty rough month. We had a pretty rough month. Let's stop. We just keep losing. Holy shit. Okay. Right. Mathot, are you scoring more goals? Latakainen has developed third eye. Yeah, that top line sucks. Okay. We are going to go. Tiebreaker, what's up, man? We are going to go with what? Probably Taves, Misa, Diorio. Just looking for a carry. Looking for a carry. Stenberg, Mathot, Latakainen. I am worried about Bernard Mathot. That last month was really bad for us. Jordan Harris continues to lose abilities as the season goes on, by the way. James had a really rough month in goal. Okay. There's some warning signs that we could be in a little bit of trouble here. There's a few. Let's see how we do now after making that change to the top line. Let's see. Another loss. Finally going to win. I don't even remember the last time that we had one. God, we went from first in our division to now being in a wild card spot. Remember when I said I was worried about our ability to make the playoffs? Well, here we are. Here we are. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. I mean, we still have a decent record, but we have totally pissed away that division lead. We are 6th in goals for, 20th in goals against, top power play, second best PK. Good PK. So is it just the goaltending that's been shitting the bed? Manny James on a 909. You got Taves on 49 points. Misa on 54, but a minus 17. 40 goals for Diorio. So he hasn't scored much. Stenberg's a minus 23. Minus 20 from Mathot on just 16 goals. He's not going to win the Calder. That minus 20 is going to disqualify him. And then Latakainen. I think the Mathot experiment is over. Aiden Bowdens has a better chance of winning the Calder now. He's actually been pretty good. Mathot's got to go, and we have to find an actual player. So our choice is to keep that top line united or to drop a couple people back down. How did Taves do in that last month? How is that top line doing? I'm going to guess February was when we changed it. And yeah, significantly better than what he was. Had 9 points in 12 games. Misa. 15 points in 12 games. Was a minus 11 in January. Jesus. And then Diorio. His scoring was down. Same amount of points, had a higher rating. So, I mean, technically, we could reunite Taves, Diorio, Latikainen. Have Stenberg with Misa. We just need... Because this second line was good. The second line was real good. We just need a top line right-handed sniper. But I don't know if that exists anymore. It should, but I don't know if it does. I nearly dropped my damn controller. If we're looking forward, at least a second liner, sniper, technically power forward could work too, but right-handed. Does this only show second liners? It doesn't, or does it also show first liners? It's not going to tell me. Okay, well, then let me say sniper, right-handed. We'll double check the contracts. 5-star shooting category. What exists from there? Connor Bedard, Cole Caulfield, Diorio, of course, Ruben Green. There's an argument of do we bring back Ruben Green for the rest of the year? There is that argument. Honestly, it could be worth it. It could be worth it. Just to try and shore things up. Here, if we look at, I was going to go centers, but it's not going to do that. It's just forward. So yeah, player role, right-handed sniper. Is it still having the 5-star shooting? Yes, it is. Okay. Actually, while I'm here, let's also add in at least... Is there a 5-star skating, 5-star shooting player? There's only 3 of them. And we're priced out on all 3 of them because Fitzgerald has a contract. That means we'd have to get rid of him. So, Augie, what's going on? Start a new job. Have to be in at 5 a.m. Monday to Friday. Oof. Well, congrats on the new job. I'm sorry it doesn't work out well for my streaming times, but congrats. Oh, Cole Caulfield. We can't afford him either. Okay, so beggars can't be choosers. They can't be a great skater and a great shooter. Green has not re-signed yet with Calgary. Kiramaki makes too much. Gunther makes too much. Then, of course, there's Mathot. But he's just not working out. He's not going to win the Calder, which means he's going to kind of just crash and burn to where he is right now. I think we try to bring back Ruben Green. I think we do. We tried the Mathot experiment. I don't know what we'll do long term. I have no idea what we'll do long term. But in the short term, if we can bring back Ruben Green, then we should. Will it be expensive? Yes, it will. But given that I have 5 first-round picks right now, it's not too bad. Have you won any cups with this team? No. Made the cup finals twice. Lost both times. Fuck. Although, do I even have the value to bring him back? I don't think I do. All those first rounders I spent time acquiring. And now I'm going to have to flip them to get him back. 2 firsts and... Oh, it's so much for a rental. Oh boy, we're in a spot of bother here, aren't we?